Hello and welcome to Sidequest. This is our weekly video game show here at Geekverse. I'm your host, Ilmus, and back from his trip to Flyer, I have Kirklin Patzer. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing really good. Coming off a wonderful weekend. Had my first back to work day today after my 2-week vacation to Japan, and no, it's nice. It was my first day back to work, first day back on a podcast. I'm not counting 24-hour stream because that's like in person, but this is
vibe.
And I think my last cast before I left was with you on the mic, if I'm remembering correctly.
Bookend.
And also, as I'm on a roll, I'm pretty sure last year after the 24-hour stream, we had Sidequest together right afterwards. So it's kind of becoming like a tradition, unless I'm very mistaken. I could be. My memory's not what it should be.
No, I mean, it makes sense because, we finished the stream Sunday morning, and then sometimes there's a cast that night. Like, I don't even know. Did the boys end up doing It episode
I never
last
checked.
night?
They were talking tough, like they were going to be able, because Taylor still had like an extra episode of It to catch up on, but I haven't checked the feeds. But from what they said,
usually Sidequest is kind of like the first episode back after the 24-hour stream, which is a big moment. And thank you to everyone, of course, who tuned in or donated, or even just put a message in the Discord and say, "Good luck, guys. Have a good one," or "Nice job." That kind of stuff. That all helps. All the support. Thank you to everyone who tuned in for the trivia, joined us there. A lot of the network crossover stuff going on. And all the people who showed up along the way, such as the great Hidalgo, who I know listens to a lot of this show on as one of our patrons over there. So shout-outs to him. It was fun to have him in the mix for Gauntlet and all these other things. So, so many people make the stream what it is. Of course, we're there. We're the ones who have to stay up for 24 hours and be extremely sleepy, goofy, and do all the silly stuff. But there's a lot of people that help support, make it happen. And, we hit our goal, which about halfway through, me and Travis went out for dinner. And I was maybe not halfway through, maybe it was 8 hours in, something like that. I was like, I don't know if we're hitting this goal. And I don't know. I didn't feel like I really did much in terms of the promo. I mean, that's mostly a Travis thing. And I was like, I don't know. It's feeling like a quieter year for some reason. But then all sorts of people came through throughout the evening and then in the morning as well. And we ended up hitting the goal. So that feels really great because it was a yearly goal, but it was also trying to hit a kind of cumulative goal from all the streams over the years. And so it was a nice 2-in-1, really fun stream. A lot of video games were being played, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. But of course, just big thank you, big shout out to everyone there. And today we're just going to be talking a lot about some of the gaming highlights from the stream. Of course, there's other moments outside of video games, but this is a video game show, so we're going to focus on that stuff. And then, we're going to hear about all the games that Kirklin played on his trip. A lot of time in airports, sitting around, maybe getting back at the hotel late night, being tired, just want to game for a little bit. I don't know. We'll find out what you did, but that'll be fun to hear about as well. So it should be a nice, chill episode, which I think is what you and I both need after the weekend we just had. So
absolutely.
Let's get into it and talk about some of the gaming highlights from the stream. And I'm going to kick it over to you first. What is the first game or highlight that you wanted to mention from this stream we had on the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to start off with the big elusive game that's always eluded us the last couple of years, which was Battle for Middle-earth, the legendary Lord of the Rings RTS real-time strategy game, which it felt like something that just had so much build-up to the point that when we were playing it didn't quite live up to the hype, but I also feel like we were playing it at like just very late, weird hours. We did not win our one game that we booted up. Taylor started us off with it, but I feel like also it made me realize how much I don't know, this might sound negative, but just like how much I kind of like build up past game experiences in my head of like, man, when I looked at this game in my head, I thought it was like the most advanced RTS game that I'd ever played in my life. And to be fair, I only played this at my cousin's house, so I never owned it, so I never really like dove in fully on it. But just like I feel like I also didn't even play it that much. I feel like I mostly just watched my cousin play this. So to like actually get on the sticks and and jump in there after trying to save the the empire that Taylor was starting us off.
And by empire, you mean like 3 buildings, and like
yes,
several groups of guys.
It was a small village, a small hut that he booted up there. It just, I don't know. There was some about it that it didn't quite strike the exciting gaming nerve that I was really wanting, but. I also shouldn't judge it too fully because, like I said, we were kind of in the late hours and we were just kind of messing around. But no, it was crazy to finally be able to see the game in action. And I feel like what this made me want more than anything is like a modern Battle for Middle Earth, like whether it's a remake or just a new installment in the franchise. I feel like it's always weird with the big like IPs, like something like Lord of the Rings, because there's so many rights things involved, and it's probably very difficult to get something like that. But I don't know. I just feel like a game set in Middle Earth is just so overdue, especially in the strategy side of things, whether it's an RTS, whether it's turn-based. And of course, I'm a big fan of Total War games, Total War Warhammer being my absolute favorite. And there's been many rumors about a potential like pairing of a fresh IP with that franchise, and I think Lord of the Rings fits that so well. There's another like some crazy Star Wars potential rumors tied to that series, which of course I'd be super hyped for. That one's like very low percentage. I feel like even the Lord of the Rings went for me, but I mean, there was a time that people thought the Warhammer pairing was crazy with Total War, and it just fits so well. So I would definitely love to see that happen someday. But yeah, no, I did have fun with it, but definitely I feel like I don't feel the need to like purchase this on my own on like eBay or something to jump in and dust off the Xbox 360 and go about that. It just felt really clunky and slow. We're getting some frame dropping. That could also be because of the Elgato pairing. Who knows? Maybe it was the TV pairing.
I was going to mention that for anyone who's watching the stream and like, oh, this game looks really choppy. Like, that was not our stream lagging. That was just the game having a really weird frame rate. It's not like we were playing it on Series X with some weird back compat thing. Like, we were playing it on the intended hardware, but yet it was still kind of laggy, so not sure what was going on there. But yeah, I mean, and that's always the thing with like real-time strategy games. Like, those are PC games. They're best played with a keyboard and mouse and having all these hotkeys ready to go. And it's funny, I kind of think about that one in a way where, one, I don't think it was a great like Wii Hours kind of game, but I don't really know when else we would do it, just because it is a bit of a snoozy game unless you have someone who's like really good at it. But I think I compare it to like last year on the stream when Travis was doing GM mode in WWE, and I like that was one of my favorite parts of that stream, and I think for you as well, because we were just like asking him questions and he's going through it and he knows everything, and he's okay, I know what all these things are going to do, and then we can like throw some goofs in there because he can even throw curveballs of like, oh yeah, hire this weird clown guy to be part of your roster, and then he'll like build that up because he knows that game so well. And I think if we came into that part of the stream with like Taylor being like, oh yeah, guys, I've been playing a bunch of this game the last couple months, let me just like give you the collision course, show you how this game works, I think that would have been like really exciting. But like we didn't know what was going on. It was confusing. It was very clunky. So yeah, I think that's one that deserves like another shot or something, or maybe even just like watching a couple of YouTube videos before and then like, okay, now that I know what's going on. Or if it had like a multiplayer component so we could at least mess around with it. But it was hard for me to follow it, and that was one that I had not played back in the day, so I had no input on like, oh yeah, this is how you play this game. I've only seen like, YouTube clips or things like that. So it was fun to finally see it. But yeah, I think it, like maybe Conquest, even though I know built up to Battle of Middle Earth, maybe Conquest would have been a better choice for us in that moment, because we could have got multiple people playing a little bit more active. But yeah, that game was really cool to see. I mean, even just watching the opening cutscene, I loved seeing that, because one, you get a bunch of creatures that I'm not really used to from the movies or from the other games and other things I've seen, just parts of the greater Tolkien world and Middle Earth in general. And yeah, like it was really fun to see like that long intro cinematic, so many cool shots, very cinematic, trying to match the movie tone, but yet being like a totally different Elseworlds kind of realm of it. So yeah, there was a lot in there that was really cool, and obviously like the fact that you can play as evil characters. And, at one point, like, Wormtongue running around just ripping up some guys and then just getting destroyed. Like, that was a hilarious moment. But it just felt like, it was maybe a lot of build-up for what ended up being, like, a bit of a deflated balloon. But, we can always bring it back next year, try it again at some point, because I definitely think that game's worth checking out some more. But you're definitely right. I feel like we need a new one of these stat. Because this was, like, 360 era. So it's been a long time.
No, absolutely. And it's so like well thought of when people think back on it, like people that have played it. I've never heard someone say like, "Oh yeah, I had that, but I really wasn't a fan." Like even non RTS fans, I feel like are just they have good memories if they played this back in the day. And yeah, no, I definitely want an updated version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, since I just mentioned it, we'll talk about GM mode here. So we did something a bit different this year, where me, you, and Taylor did a 3-player, I guess, versus GM mode session, and Travis kind of coached us through it. But of course, the kind of setup for this is in the last couple weeks, Travis has been downloading all sorts of freakish characters to have as potential rosters. So we had just like 100. We had like 4 wrestlers, and then just like 96 whatever like freaks to pick from to make like the craziest rosters possible. And that took a long time, just like the draft part. And then we ended up doing a few rounds. Taylor was dozing off a little bit, so then we ended up like speeding through a bit of it. But then when we put on just like the auto match to watch some of that, it was really exciting. But that's a game that I want to get really good at. Like I like the mechanics, and once again last year Travis just like showing off that game, and obviously him and S-Bubs and David, I think it is, do the streams like through the gimmick, which is fun. So I definitely want to get into that too. But yeah, like my roster had like Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Shrek, Sue Storm, who else I had just regular Storm, Wanda. I had Riley Reid on my team. I had Sydney Sweeney on my team. So just like the craziest roster imaginable, but it made for some really good hectic fun. So yeah, I think that's one that I feel like that'll be just, I mentioned this on the stream, but I think that will be a game that just is on every stream at some point. It's a good like midnight 2 a.m. sort of game when like the Sarises of the world, the Hidalgos, when they've left for the day and it's just us, the GV core, hanging out. That's like the perfect game to put on and get into some insanity. But yeah, who were the freaks on your team again?
Yeah, I had somewhat of an all-star roster. I had both Princess Daisy and Princess Peach, which I mean, if you tuned in for that, they excelled in the team tag. They kept their championship every week. I was running them.
Daisy in that final battle, holy hell, she was an Amazonian.
That was like how true wrestling, it's like not always the people that might win the physical battle win the match because of just it's a better script. I feel like that was the case there. If that was UFC, Princess Daisy is crushing some skulls in. She was not pulling her punches as Andrew Garfield Spider-Man once did. But yeah, no, I had Princess Daisy, Princess Peach. I had an Olivia Rodrigo in there. I had King Kong himself. I had the human spider. Who I had Optimus Prime. Just a plethora of freaks. There's.
Well, you had your boy Perk too, right? You had
Perk Angle. There you go. He's like my captain. I had.
Yeah.
We were going for the whole Perk Kirk for this year's gauntlet, so I had to run with that theme. And he was not a creative fighter. He was just Kurt Angle in that era.
His opponent was Dexter's brother,
Brian Moser. Kept going at him, and
they kept going at him.
I mean, we didn't even do a full season. I think season was 25 weeks, and we did 5 weeks, and it's kind of cool how you can just. Well, it doesn't end there, but it was a natural colliding of all three of us, because that's when they had the 3 companies, I guess, coming together for the
crossover event.
The crossover event. So it was really nice fitting for our stream, because it took a little while to get the roster through, but just do 5 weeks and then see the freak show matchup. It was just so great. But yeah, every week it was Perk Kurt versus Brian Moser, and Perk Kurt took him out every single week. Brian was not happy about it. Then, of course, at the very last battle, which we made a casket battle, so I don't know how wrestling works completely, but according to the game, I think he just died. I think Perk Kurt just died. It was,
he left the league. I don't think he physically was pushing daisies.
He left in a casket. Maybe I'll leave it there. So Brian Moser was successful, and who knows? Maybe next year when we do it, maybe we'll get rematches, and then maybe Perk Kurt will rise from the ashes from the casket there. But yeah, yeah, I'm not like a big wrestling fan. I kind of followed it a little bit there. Got to see some live matches when they came here to Cologne. I went there with Travis, but yeah, it was definitely appetizing, I think, and also like I kind of booted up GM mode after last year's stream. Kind of just got confused as we were going along, because there is so much to it. Like we weren't even using like we weren't even like selecting venues and stuff. Like we kept it pretty simple, but it was great to have Travis there as just insider knowledge, because he's just done so many hours of doing his own GM modes, and just seeing kind of like booster cards and stuff. Like I didn't really mess around with that too much when I played on my own, but man, like they can really make or break your weeks, because like you get one good booster, all of a sudden, you know, like your one match is just selling out so much. And yeah, no, I was happy I was able to take whatever competitive edge I had, I was able to take the win, I guess, in our first 5 weeks based on money percentage there. But yeah, no, it was lots of fun, and I would love to see that come back next week or next year. Not next week. We're not doing another 24-hour stream this week.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a learning curve to it, and my team was the lowest in terms of fans, in terms of money. I think I was not doing so great, but definitely learned a lot of tricks and things like that. And I don't know, it's just fun, especially with the freaky characters in there. So yeah, definitely have to bring that one back. One game that I didn't see at all, because this is when I took my much needed nap, was Madden. But it sounded like you guys had a lot of fun. Can you tell me what happened during the Madden section?
Yeah, so the great Kyle, I'll just name him last name nameless.
Shouts to Kyle, just in general, for being there for almost the entire stream, I feel like, even though he didn't have to be.
He only left
you were
to
contractually obliged. He did not need to be, but he just hung out.
Yeah, that was his first year to hang around the whole time, which was amazing. He only left because he had to go pick up his lady that was getting off work. So shouts out to him. There was a couple times in the 2-3 a.m. hour slots, he was thinking about going home, but I'm just going to say I was able to convince him to stay. I don't think that's actually what happened, but we'll say that. And yeah, his energy levels were up there. I was pretty impressed. He wasn't dozing off at all. And yeah, we booted up Madden, and we had some very nice competitive matches. It was my first time playing like with an actual person on Madden 26, which I picked up over the summer. And lots of fun. Very close games. I ended up taking the first game against him on my Minnesota Vikings. He was playing Seattle Seahawks, won by 1 score, and it was really close. At the end, there was a really clutch interception that sealed my win. And then Travis was kind of waking up around that time, so then he fought winner, and he took me out. If I believe correctly. I honestly don't even remember. I think I won the first game, and then he won the second. You were riding
high off your Kyle.
Yeah. I really don't remember that second match. So that was really late in the morning, but I'll have to ask Travis, and he'll probably just lie to me and say that he won both games. I know for sure he won the last game because it was, again, really close. Ended up being a bloodbath, though, at the end, because sometimes with football, it's just like it gets to a point that you just can't get back no matter what, but there's also just some crazy magic happens where there's some crazy fumbles or maybe interceptions. Him and I were just throwing interceptions like it's no tomorrow. Like normally like one interception is pretty bad to get in a game, and we were throwing like 7 or 8 like in a row. Like it was just crazy, but that's usually how it goes when him and I play together, because we're just going for some big plays, and they can shoot yourself in the foot if you're doing that. But it was lots of fun, and yeah, shouts out to Madden. Travis was having lots of fun with it, and I'm also glad that like, because I've put so much hours college football, Madden plays very similar to that. Like I'm just much better at that game now, whereas before, like I just wouldn't know how to like stop people, or like defense wise. It also helps that I like kind of follow the sport now, so I kind of have a little bit of knowledge of what you should be doing, different strategic elements to it. Whereas before it was just like, okay, I'm gonna try this play, and there's just no way to stop anyone. But yeah, I can safely say I've gotten a lot better. Beat Kyle, so there you go. I think I beat Travis, but I don't know. Can't quite remember.
Yeah, we'll have to. Unfortunately, that stream is the middle. We had 3 separate streams technically, because we had to cut it just at different times, so YouTube doesn't get mad at us. And the middle stream right now is not up because we got copyright strict for the WWE stuff. It will be back up at some point. We might have to edit out some sound or something like that. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I don't think the Madden portion is up on the stream right now, so we can't confirm at the moment. It's lost history. I mean, I guess I could go on the back end and look at that video that's just not visible publicly, but we'll find out. We'll get the record straight. It was not a gauntlet match. It was just for fun exhibition. Yep. So nothing on the line other than some pride, I guess. But
absolutely.
Yeah, I guess was Madden in the gauntlet rotation? Like, could it have been picked? It was randomly. Okay.
It was. Yeah, we threw it in there. Yeah, did not get picked though, because we go by the randomizer wheeler as we always do.
Yeah. Speaking of gauntlet, what is your highlight match? Either one that you played or just watching one. What is like the first one that comes to mind?
That's a good question. My super low point was Tony Hawk, Pro Skater. I got very humbled by the great Tyler Saris. I knew it was gonna go that way. I wish I could have voted on myself in that game. I know that's kind of probably a bad idea. It's because you just throw matches, but I was not trying to throw the match. I was trying my hardest, and it was a completely different game him and I were playing. I just can't do the arcade skaters. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the pressure of the competition. I just overthink the combos and stuff. But yeah, I don't. He's got it. I mean, he also beat you. But you were a lot stronger than me. You did take a game of horse against him, but still, he looked pretty confident on the sticks.
I don't think I did take a game of horse. I think I took a couple of letters, but I don't think I beat him in that.
I think I got one letter.
That was what shocked me the most because as I've documented very clearly and maybe too publicly on Geekverse or on Sidequest, I've played so much Tony Hawk in the last few months, and I haven't played in the last month or so, but September I played, probably 30 or 40 hours or something of different Tony Hawks. I played 1+2, but I played a lot of 3+4, which we did on the stream. And then going back to some old ones, which, once again, all those episodes are up now. And so I don't know what it was. I was trying to think, is it because the character I was playing as, doesn't have maxed out stats? And, by the end of those games, you, have maxed out stats and your character's just cracked and can do everything and you just don't fall very easily because you can jump super high and your balance is super good. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I was just fatigued. Maybe the pressure was on. I'm not sure what it was, but I thought I had that in the bag. And I feel like I should have. So I desperately want a rematch with him on that one. So maybe next year if he's around, we can pick that as our one. And I'm sure he would happily take that because he kind of crushed me this time. I don't think he would back away from that. But yeah, I don't know what happened there. I could come up with excuses all day long, but really I'm just disappointed in myself because I feel like coming to the stream, I was almost excited to show off my skills because I'm not gonna lie to you. By the end of my session here, the last couple months, easily doing 100, 150k combos, getting some 200k combos pretty consistently. But on this, I couldn't do shit all. So once again, maybe it's the low stats. But I know these maps so much better than he does because he hasn't played this exact one or maybe he's played a little bit of it, and I've played tons and tons of hours on all these maps recently. So yeah, I'm not. If that's what cost me, spoilers here for the results of the tournament at the end. If that was the thing that cost me the tournament in the end, I think I would have been really, really hung up about it. The fact that I still won, okay, I'm fine with it. It's fine. I can lose that. But I feel if any of those games, I should, Pokken was completely random pretty much. Switch sports, it's hard to be, consistent at that. I feel trivia or 20 questions is probably in my favor because I review movies all day long and Saris doesn't think about these things as much. But yeah, I feel that should have been the one that was in the bag for me, and it was absolutely not. So I got to train up even more. I played a bunch, but I apparently got to play a whole lot more. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe there's I will say this, if I have anyone valid excuse, when I was playing on Xbox, that game originally, I had to modify some settings on my Xbox to just remove a little bit of latency, and it made a world of difference. I was 5 times better when I changed a couple settings and took out that little bit of input lag. I find with Tony Hawk it's such a precise game that if you have any input lag, it throws you off. So obviously he and I were playing the same version of the game. That's only an excuse in the sense that I feel I'm very used to the settings I had and the super responsiveness. So maybe that's what it was. So maybe next time before the match I would go into Taylor's Xbox, hack into the mainframe a little bit, and get the settings just right. But yeah, that one's gonna haunt me for a little bit. But I mean, just shows how good Saris is at games in general, but especially Tony Hawk, because he hasn't. The last time he's played was on the stream last year for a bit. Before that was probably 10 years or something, and he can still show up is impressive because that's not a ride your bike, pick up the bike kind of game. It takes practice. It's really. It's not very intuitive, especially once you've played a bunch of skate like we have.
Absolutely. Even just doing 180 360s, just doing the perfect motion, because it's a very high active game that to just consistently be able to spin around and land properly, because if you're perpendicular to the road, you're just gonna fall your whole combo. But very consistently landing perfectly, he just remembered transitioning into the verts. I think there's a trigger to go down. I couldn't even remember
that
how
timing
to do all that.
Is really precise. It took me a while recently to get that timing down to be able to do it into a manual.
Or being able to land and then switch as you land to go into a manual to just keep your combo going. He was doing that consistently, and that's I think he's just secretly just running Tony Hawk 24/7. Like to be able to be that dialed in. He probably isn't. He's a busy guy. You know, he's got a child, but still, shouts out to Tyler Saris for the phenomenal
he didn't
performance there.
lose much at all the whole day. Like he's just
and he's always the
freaking
same.
gamer,
That's
man.
why he's always a safe bet. I feel like he's just a wild card that he comes in. It's like when Ruben comes in and just has a random match that he just pops off on. You know, so yeah,
He certainly has his genres. Like I feel like he also had a pretty good run of things in terms of the games he had to play. But even something like Switch Sports, he's never played that before, and he did like super good. And I own that game and played a bunch of it, and still like it was extremely close. And you know, it's like a motion control game, but like you know, he plays a lot of volleyball, and he was like transferring that into being like really good at Switch Sports volleyball. I'm like, damn it, this guy is just good at everything.
He was leaping.
So he's really hard to stop. Really hard. Like if it weren't for video game 20 questions or not movie 20 questions being a thing, I don't know if I would have won that. Like that, I feel like was a bit of a softball for me. I just feel like one, I've been quizzing you guys on 20 questions stuff recently, thinking about that, and I reveal these movies that I can like think through these things a bit quicker. So I feel like that was a bit of a layup for me in a sense. But otherwise, like fuck, it was, and Pokken was like so freaking close as well. Like it was really really tight matches.
The one I really wanted to shout out, which was in your guys' series, was Bomberman. Bomberman 2, I think was specifically the one that was played, or it was Bomberman something. I'd never seen this game played before. I'd seen the characters, so it was cool to finally see it there. Very entertaining, just game. It looked fun to play, but also just to watch. Man, massive shouts out to you though for your great performance on Bomberman. I honestly thought you were one and done. I think at the point it was like 3-1 or something he had on you, and I'm like
early on for sure.
I'm like it didn't even seem like it was like his strategy. It just seemed like just the cards were not falling for you in the particular order. Like you just kept getting screwed a couple times, and to come back when you're like that far down to like you won every game after that. I think you beat him 5-3. Maybe it was 5-4. I can't quite remember, but yeah, that one was so fun to watch because when you start clearing those boxes and you're running around and you're getting power ups and you're sprinting around and you're just dropping the bombs, it is so chaotic. And I don't know how like easy it is to like maneuver like in the grid pattern. Sometimes it can be a little bit janky with the controls, but it looked pretty smooth and fast from my perspective. So yeah, huge congratulations to you on that, and definitely a game that just seems like it's a great gauntlet game because it's probably not too hard to like do the basic, but man, there's some skill expression I think in that game.
Yeah, I think we should bring it back. Like, I think we're going to keep it in the rotation and it can pop up randomly, of course. But I think we should do more because we just did like a 1st to 5 wins. I feel like we should do that maybe with like a best of 3 so you get like different maps and give people a chance to like pick it up a bit more. It was really fun, but I think the most chaotic part about it was that you're picking up power-ups constantly, but the only one that either of us I think knew what it did was the one that like you can spawn multiple bombs because that's literally just the logo of a bomb and it's very straightforward what it does. But there's other ones where you can like kick bombs or like throw them, and I was never really sure if I could do that. So sometimes I would go up to a bomb and try and throw it and it wouldn't work. And I'm like, okay, I backed out just in time to not die. But yeah, like the way it starts and super slow, you're in your corner, you can't really walk anywhere. One bomb at a time, okay, a little slow. And then by the end of the round, the amount of speed that's going on, the explosions are going off, it builds up very quickly. So yeah, that was a really fun one as well. And yeah, I don't think, because I feel like it's been in the random rotation before, but it just hasn't happened. I know Taylor's been wanting to get that one to happen for a bit, and so I'm glad we finally did. I feel like that would have been another good like Wii Hours one to bring that back out and play some more of that. Because yeah, I remember playing. I never played that game before. I played a lot of Playing with Fire, which is like a Flash game version of it, and so I feel like I had the basics down. I understood what the assignment was, but just getting the familiarity with it was a tricky part. But yeah, that was that worked out well. Yeah.
The other game I really wanted to shout out is Strikers this year, which I hadn't played Strikers in a long time. We played it, I think it was a gauntlet match, but then also like the teams competition, it was in there, and then we also just booted it up later on. I haven't played this probably since the last stream, but man, so much fun of a game. It like even if I haven't played it in a long time, it took us a little while to get the control familiarity back, but man, just such a great game that just, especially like I felt like the vast majority of games that we played were very competitive on both sides, like some very late game comebacks and just some crazy goals that came out of it. Of course, you always just got fantastic animation celebrations from the characters. Maybe when they're getting beat down, they get a little bit upset, and you see that emotion on the character's face. Just so much fun. And yeah, no, I think everyone had fun playing and watching that title.
Yeah, because I don't think we played it on last year's stream. I think the last time would have been 2 years ago.
It feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, because like there was even DLC characters in there that I don't think I've actually played the game with before. Like Birdo, maybe when Birdo went in there, I played like a match on my own. But I don't think Birdo was in there last time we played like as a group. So it must have been a while. I thought we would have played it last year, but I don't think we did. But yeah, that was super fun. I mean, I think the more and more I play Battle League, like, you know, some of the online and multiplayer components weren't quite there. We found out you can do 8-player split screen, which I don't think the game had last time we played it. So that must have been like a new addition as well. And I think we'll probably put it into more things, knowing that like 8 people can play at the same time. Like that's very rare on the Switch, because that even came up like before the stream. We were like, okay, what games can we play with more than 4 people? Most consoles don't like allow you to do that. And we're like, okay, Ultimate, of course, Smash Ultimate's the main one. Maybe a Mario Kart, but like I totally didn't realize that you can do that with Strikers, and that's like pretty easy. You can do it all on one console. So that one was really fun. And yeah, like as you mentioned, like that game is so freaking good. Like there are so many mechanics in there, so many things I didn't even realize. Like dodging with the ball was something I just forgot you could do until Taylor was doing it a lot in our last couple matches in like the morning. I'm like, man, we weren't even doing that in the gauntlet. There's so many little mechanics in there, and like now that there's a bunch more characters in there as well. And we weren't even using the gear, so like there's even more customization. But I really do love that game. And yeah, at one point, when it was me, you, and Kyle, that was like the dream team. We had like really great chemistry. That was really fun in that 3v3 period we were doing. I think that was past Gauntlet at that point. We were just playing for fun. But that was really good. That was a really good time. Yeah. So I feel like in general, like soccer games in general, because between that and Rocket League, I feel like soccer was by far the most played thing when you count those two games together, because Rocket League came up a lot in the Gauntlet a couple different times, and then also when it was just me playing and you and Kyle were watching League of Legends, and you were teaching Kyle about League of Legends, the tournament that was going on. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I need a game that's like high energy, but what do I want to play right now? I was like, I'm just going to play some Rocket League and probably play for like an hour just solo on my own. That was really fun. Keeps you awake. And yeah, like playing those teams matches, because as I mentioned on the stream, me and Saris have been playing a lot of Rocket League as a team online together, and sort of face off against each other was really fun. Once again, working with Hidalgo there, he and I were the soccer dream team. He was a really great teammate. That was super fun. So yeah, Rocket League and Strikers, those were, I think, my favorite. Just in terms of like playing games, I think that was like the most fun I had just across the stream. So shout outs to soccer, I guess. I guess that's the takeaway.
Yeah, absolutely. What else is there to shout out? Yeah, I felt like the Rocket League, I didn't get a chance to jump in there. I mean, I had my opportunities in the wee hours, but I didn't grab the sticks there. Just watching you guys play it, though, it just reminds me how great of a game that is, and it's just so timeless. It's just such an easy one to pick up whenever, so I definitely want to reinstall it and get some matches in there. It's because it's got crossplay, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it must.
Yeah, I feel like I've played against PC play. Like it was one of the earlier crossplay games, at least for PC and console.
Right.
Right. I don't know in between consoles, but I'm pretty sure they have that. But no, that'd be lots of fun to jump in with the lads, kick some balls around.
Absolutely. No, I'm always down. Like I said, me and Sarah's playing it pretty often. Let's take our first ad break. We'll come right back and talk about some more highlights. We'll be back in one moment. Okay, we are back, and I'm going to quickly thank our Patreon producers, Aaron Braden, April of Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Superbad Mike, TJGLM69, one that we got to remove from the list, Charlie Rendell, Cocktail Clay, John with No H, and Sam Green, many of which we saw their faces during the stream, whether it was with a donation or just hanging out in the chat or even just saying hello in Discord. So thank you to all of you, because, part of your support helps allow us to be able to do crazy stuff like these 24-hour streams and all these other things. So thank you. And yeah, Patreon is the best place to go to support us. Of course, you all just supported us a lot financially with the donations for the charity stream. So of course, it's chill. Don't worry about it. But if you do want to support us directly, the best place to do that is by far Patreon. You get episodes early, ad-free. You get to vote on things. You get to join us on After 9. we make it worth it. And as we talked about and kind of announced on the stream, next year it's going to get even better. We're going to have more exclusive stuff up there, fun episodes, more breads and butters, more breads with more butter on it, I guess I should say. Bigger pieces of bread, more numerous, larger pieces of bread with all sorts of butter on it, Kirklin. Is that the best way to put it?
I don't know if there's any better way to put it other than that.
It's a sentence I never thought I'd say before. But yeah, check out the Patreon. And then also just join our Discord. It's a great place to hang out, talk about all the newest releases, when things like GTA 6 get delayed, when new trailers come out, when Predator the movie comes out and people are talking about it. Join the Discord. It's a fun place to hang out. Okay, back into the stream. I think the next highlight for me would be UFO 50, which I was salty kind of before the stream or at the start of the stream when I put UFO 50 in the bracket to be randomly drawn for Gauntlet Games, and it didn't get randomly selected. So I was like, okay, I'm mad about this. This game's on Switch now, easy to play at the stream. I really want to get this on there. And then thankfully, what happened, what was it? There was a 3-player game that we were going to do, a 1v1v1, and a game didn't work for that last minute, and then we pivoted, and UFO 50 took over. Do you remember what game it was that very last minute we realized like didn't have 3-player to it? God, what was it?
No, I can't remember now.
Blanking on it. Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like I can picture the menu too,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh no, it's just one player.
Because I feel like
It was
we
an
even, like,
Xbox
plugged
game,
it in.
wasn't it?
Must have been. I feel like we even plugged something in, turned it on, and then like
Yeah.
realized it didn't work or something. So I'll have to look into that. But
Yeah.
But the moral
Yeah,
of
I
the story
apologize,
is
can't remember.
we needed a 1v1v1 game. You know, not every game has that. A lot of games have 1v1 potential or 2v2, but 1v1v1 is a special thing. And UFO 50 has, even though it has 50 games, it only has one 3-player game. And so thankfully that game came in clutch and worked out. And that was you, Hidalgo, and Travis playing Quibble Race, which is like a cracked up version of horse racing where you race these weird alien creatures. You dope them up, you knock them out with clubs, you bet on your racer, you can, hit up the loan shark, get some more money. And I had a grand old time watching you guys play this game because, once again, shouts to UFO 50, and that game is one of the weirdest things in there. And the fact that it is like the only 3-player game is also a strange detail about it. But that was so much fun to watch. Like, obviously, it takes a bit to get the hang of it, of like what buttons to click and where you want to go and what, like, strategy and things like that. But once like the races are actually happening, it's just such a hype moment for the stream. It's kind of like we were comparing it to GM mode a little bit. It's almost like a proto GM mode, like a very simplified version. And then when you do all the build up, but then you finally get to the matches, and the matches are playing out on their own, the auto battler type. It's just great. So I had a lot of fun watching you guys play UFO 50, and you've finally played a little bit of UFO 50.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see that.
All
too.
it took was, a certain game not being able to show up for competition, and then we
mystery
threw
game. I'm gonna go
Quibble
on there.
Race in there.
Our Google thing and see if
Yeah,
I can find what
please.
that game was.
No, I'm so glad this one got pulled up. I've heard you talk about UFO 50 so many times, and to have it in like a competition setting, and not only that, but I also took the win in that competition setting, which was a great feeling. But man, what a fun game to play, and definitely one I want to see next year's stream. Also, just like the RNG-ness of it, but still like seeing different people's strategies, and at the end of the day, you could have a great strategy, but it's just a roll of a dice, just like horse racing is, just like Quibble racing is. I've learned, and just the different forms of tools that you have to your just in your toolkit to try and get the best strategy, whether it's getting more loans from the loan shark, which at first I thought that was kind of goofy, but man, you really do need it if it's not going well. I took one.
You got to pay it
out.
back too, so it's like it's not like a free cheat code. Like Travis's score at the very end when he had like 3 different loans come crashing down on him for a negative 2,000 gold or whatever at the end was hilarious.
It's the danger of extreme gambling addiction. People are doing that in their real lives, which is insane to me. But Travis, he was in that situation. What else is he gonna do? He needs to call the loan shark for that game, and didn't end up working out. But if it did, and he was putting big bets down, like he could be laughing right now. So that was fun. But then also just like getting the info, I think was so interesting because it maybe made you lean in a certain direction, like this person's looking really, really good for this race, But if you line up and there's just rocks all over the track, and they happen to be in front of that guy that's doing so well, or maybe I boosted him up, which happened one time. I think it also paired where Tyler maybe paid for like the poison, and I think he poisoned for the guy that I like boosted up, so that guy's body was going through it that day. But it ruined that particular race for me. So super fun. I also found it like one of my strategy I was doing is after a couple of the games, like the betting odds, I guess, for a certain racer, like he's won a lot of races that he's won. I'm realizing that like Tyler and Travis are also seeing this information, so like they'll probably be going for that guy also. So maybe
the
I'm
mind game of it.
Yeah, like maybe I'll go for this guy
yeah.
that's raced 8 times, hasn't won once, because they're not going to at all, and I'm gonna boost him up, because why would they like send someone after him to cripple him? Like he's never gonna win. So I kind of started thinking that avenue, and hey, I don't even remember if I won that particular race, but I won the whole thing. So I think just that mind for strategy was really benefiting there. And it's also just such a goofy game, and I love the animation, I love the music of it, I love the characters.
So good,
just some of the racers that came up, the MVP definitely being the Black Eye. I'll say very clearly.
Yes.
Yeah, Black Eye. He was phenomenal, and I believe Hidalgo even sponsored a certain racer, but I don't think he showed up lots.
I felt bad for him because I think he sponsored a guy that only appeared in one race, I believe. So yeah, not what you want to see, not the ideal situation. And I don't even know, because I think Black Eye, he kept showing up, but I think it's maybe because he kept winning, so he kept like kind of going back in the rotation. So maybe if he ended up losing a couple, if he crippled him a couple more times, maybe he would have left. I'm not exactly sure. There's a lot of mechanics that I don't know. I think I don't know if I have the cherry in that one. I think I just have the gold. The gold.
What do you have to do to get the cherry on that one? Like just absolutely win every race?
Yeah, you have to win with like a certain amount. You have to make like over 2,000 profit or something like that by the end of the season, I think, to get the cherry condition on that one. So it's just doing really well. There isn't like some secret thing you got to do, but yeah, that was super fun. And then the only other UFO 50 game we played, and this wasn't in the gauntlet anymore, it's just me and Taylor playing, was Bushido Ball, which I was really excited to play, because I think that is like, to me, it's the best 1v1 game in there, where it's kind of like a dodgeball type thing. You have a ball just going back and forth. You're playing as like samurais. You got to attack the ball, send it back and forth in that pong tennis kind of way. But then there's all sorts of things you can do, and we forgot for a little bit that you have like shurikens you can throw, and Taylor got some sick combos where he'd hit the ball and then throw a shuriken at just the right time, so the ball would like bounce off the shuriken midway across my court and just go right past me. You can do like a roll right into a hit on the ball, makes it do like a crazy curve shot. It's really fun, and there's like like half the games in that game overall are multiplayer, and some of them would also be really good gauntlet games, and some even like, I guess there isn't like 2v2 ones, unfortunately. It's just 1v1 or the 3-man one of Quibble Race, but yeah, there's definitely some other ones that I'm sure we'll see over the years, so definitely be, I think, a mainstay on the stream a little bit, pop in here or there.
Yeah, that game looked crazy, especially when I was seeing you guys playing like some of the other characters, and the one guy was like throwing like ninja stars or something, and just like the effects that you could put on the ball, it looked pretty nuts. And another game that just seems like has a crazy skill ceiling. Like you could probably get really good at that game if you just like know like the perfect frames of how to like roll, because your character moves very fast, which can be a detriment as well as like helpful. Like if you just zoom right by the ball. It looked pretty crazy, but it seemed like Taylor was kind of getting the hang of it. Like he
was.
I can't remember if he took you in a game, but he was popping off there for a couple sets at least, or whatever you'd call them, a couple of games.
Yeah, I think the couple other ones that I really want to do. One is Hot Foot, and it's like a essentially dodgeball with like hacky sacks. I think that one will be really fun. It's very similar to Bushido Ball. And then the other one I really want to do is Hyper Contender, which is kind of like a Smash Bros. Kind of game. It's like a platform fighter. But rather than like knocking characters off screen, you have to like collect rings, and all the characters have like really wild movesets compared to one another. So that one I think will be a really fun one to get in the mix at some points too. I remember the game, Kirklin, it was Gears of War was the one that we couldn't do 1v1v1.
Yes.
Because we had downloaded Gears of War Reloaded. Yeah, the new one, but like no one booted it up at any point, and we just kind of assumed, I think. So I think the old ones on 360 would have worked, but I don't think Taylor brought any of those with them, so we were out of luck with Gears of War. And now that I think about it, I feel like we didn't even really get a shooter, did we? We didn't get Gears of War, there was no COD, there was no Halo, and usually there's at least one of those in the mix. So I feel like that was, there's a lot of soccer, and a lot of sports in general, but not a lot of shooters. So I guess it was like a different flavor for the games this year.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Usually, like zombies comes up in the wee hours. That never really
Yeah, true.
occurred. Um, I'll blame it on Worlds. I'll blame it on T1 League of Legends Worlds, which I do want to shout out actually because it is gaming related
Yes, please
and
do.
massive for League of Legends community. That's my MOBA. Yeah, we've talked about in the past people that have played the franchise. They have their MOBA, and that's one that's just been a part of my life for so long. And just crazy narratives coming into this year's Worlds of the great T1 led by Faker, who's just like the OG God King himself, the unkillable Demon King, as his moniker goes about. And yeah, T1 they've won the last. This is their third Worlds Championship in a row, which is they're already the most successful team in history, but to be able to do that is just absolutely nuts. And they weren't even supposed to make the tournament this year. They did really bad in their season. They entered as a fourth seed, which doesn't even really happen. They just did like a play-in game against the Chinese fourth seed, and they ended up beating them, so they're able to enter the tournament. And they just do this thing where every single Worlds they just peak. It doesn't really matter what the meta is. They just absolutely pop
up,
off,
they don't
and
feel
they
the
just
pressure
yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, they just lock in, and no, like I won't list them all, but just looking at like the stats of like Faker in specifically like Worlds competition play, it's just insane. They did this comparison where he plays on T1, which is Telecom, but like back in the day they used to be called SKT T1, and there's a side by side comparison of like Faker stats under SKT T1 and then T1 Faker. And it's like literally the exact same amount of stats, like Worlds appearances, Worlds wins, kills. Like it's just crazy that like the only player that he could be compared to is a different version of himself. Like he's just been playing so long, which is unheard of. He's the same age as me, so it makes me feel like I'm living vicariously through this guy because I've just followed him since the get go and just been like, man, this guy's so young and so good, and now he's like the old boy in the league, but still just so consistent. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, I was popping off watching that in the late hours. So thanks to you for keeping the actual stream going as I was popping off with Kyle. Kyle was on my shoulder watching. You really didn't care, but he entertained me enough, to let me explain some things to him. And yeah, it was just really entertaining and a really fun Worlds overall to watch. You asked me. Well, you're gonna ask me what I was doing in Japan on the gaming side or whatnot, or in the late nights back at the hotel. And honestly, every single night I was pretty much just catching up on the Worlds matches because I
Nice.
hadn't seen any of it leading up to it. I was kind of behind, and there's this one gentleman in the community. His name's Cadril, and he does like commentary on the matches, and it's nice because his editor like chops up a lot of fluff on like the non-interesting parts of the game. So if you want to catch up, it's just easier to do it that way. And of course he
That's good.
commentates on it, gives his insightful knowledge, and it allows you to watch like a 3-game series, like a best of 3 or whatever, in like less than an hour, whereas like sometimes a game could last an hour, so it was a little bit more palatable that way. And yeah, I watched every series, I think other than one in the Worlds tournament this year. Then of course like the quarterfinals, semifinals, just some lot of juice in there, like tournament favorites that just get absolutely dominated by a bad team. Like that's always crazy to see. And yeah, so fun. League is it's not really watchable if you have no idea what's going on for a MOBA. So it's hard to like get people into it, but it's still just fun to like look at these stages. Like the scale of like the budgets that go into this is just so phenomenal, and it's just so entertaining for, again, like the fans of it. And even if I'm not really playing League at the time, like I'm just so interested in watching Worlds in particular. They have MSI, which was in Vancouver this year. Looking back on it, I kind of wish I did go see it because Faker was there. Maybe I could get my little signature from my pro. But no, I pretty much just tuned into Worlds, but it did not disappoint. It was absolutely fantastic. Last year was crazy to watch, and I was talking to Saris about this because he also is interested in League. He was following Worlds a little bit, and every single Worlds is like on our stream, which is crazy because we actually pushed it back a week this year. But like normally I don't know why it moved, but like normally it's last week when they do the tournament. It's always like first weekend of November, it seems. But always on the 24-hour stream is when Worlds happens, and I don't normally watch the finals because we're doing stuff, but it kind of worked out this way just because they're in China. It was in the wee hours,
Right. Yeah.
and I selfishly just booted it up, but did not disappoint. Went to a crazy game 5 out of a 5-game series, and yeah, it was just nuts. It was super well played by them. So shouts out to T1 and Faker.
Yeah, no, it's funny that as you said with like the time difference, that it was kind of like perfect for you. It's like I feel like that woke you up. I mean, you were a
I
little
was a
snoozy
zombie
earlier on the
earlier on.
stream, but then you were like crushing in the second half, which makes sense because you're still like ripping some jet lag going on there.
Yeah.
But like that seemed to really wake you up, and yeah, I enjoyed listening to that as well. Like I was very much like pretty sleepy at that hour. Travis and Taylor were both out, which is it's easy to be sleepy when you're seeing other people sleep. But I was like, guys, play some Rocket League and just listen to you kind of school Kyle about how this game works and what's going on and the stakes and all that. And obviously you're super knowledgeable on it, so it was fun listening to that. Even though I wasn't looking at you the whole time, I was just looking at Rocket League. But it was nice to kind of zone out, play some Rocket League, and just listen to that conversation. Because even though I don't follow League personally, you and many of my other friends, I had a few friends who went to that big event here in Vancouver,
Nice.
and I just like hearing about that stuff because my MOBA's not the big one, but I still like to hear about these things and
For sure.
competitive games and all that stuff. So that was fun listening to. I didn't actually watch the thing at all. I just like would look at your face reacting to the stuff, and that was enough for me. That was like a good way. That was a fun way. I recommend it for anyone to experience
Yeah.
worlds that way by just looking at Kirkland's face and hearing his reactions. That's a fun way to go about it. In terms of other game highlights, I don't think I have much more here. Smash, always super fun. I think we had the 7-player match. That was intense. Ended in like a very shocking way, surprising way that I didn't see coming. I died at like 20% because of some crazy hazard on this freaking Donkey Kong
Screw
map,
that one
so.
map we did too, like the DK level with like the ladders and everything.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Travis because of course he's always playing his Little Mac.
Little
That is
Mac,
not a Little
yeah.
Mac map whatsoever.
Hey,
and-
he wanted the hazard maps. I
He
mean,
did.
I think he actually just wanted items, but he said
Yeah.
he wanted hazard maps, and I was like, okay, I'll put a hazard maps on. He's
Yeah,
like, where are
what'd you
the
wish for?
items? I'm like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? That's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think for me, the first time I had to play it was another 3-man free-for-all game against Hidalgo and Taylor Field, and that was freaking scary. I was tense that whole time. Another one that, like Tony Hawk, I feel like I should have such a huge advantage, and I kind of played up that like, oh, I haven't really played recently, and like I'm more of like a melee guy. But like, I was like, I'm so confident on this. I hope we play this. But I gotta say, when we actually got in the match, and Hidalgo is playing Zelda, who is not a character who's commonly seen, but is like my kryptonite when I played a bunch of online Ultimate when the game first came out, especially when I played as Lucas. So I was terrified, and they were doing a little bit of teaming up on me, and then they kind of turned on each other, and that ended up working to my benefit. I would just sit in the back and shoot ice at them as they just like attacked each other. So that was I feel like there was some good just natural beef that was being generated in that one. But yeah, Smash is always a highlight, always super fun. So what are you gonna say? It's Smash, best game ever.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree. I think every year this pulls up, it's never been like, oh yes, we played Smash, but it was okay. Like every time we play, it's just so like cinematic. There's some crazy upsets that happen. Kyle, like I know it wasn't in the tournament play, but like he pulled out a win on Kirby. He I think he had like 7 KOs
he
that game
learned how
too.
to play Smash so
Yeah.
quickly. Like he's played a
Absolutely.
little bit before, but he picked it up pretty damn quick. He was doing great.
Yeah, and like he's playing Kirby, but still, like he was falling off the map way less than I am, and that's always been my kryptonite. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just permanently holding down when I shouldn't be. But I I had some highlights. I think the Crom pick was really fun to pull out. Again, I think that was I can't remember if that was in tournament play or not or whatnot.
I think
but
that
I had
was
a
just for exhibition
Yeah.
matches. Yeah.
little exhibition map, but I just had such a highlight not KO. I think it was against Tyler where I was charging my one attack and then like turn around 180. I think it blew everyone's mind. I didn't know you could
Did
do
not
that.
know you could do
Nobody
that.
knew you could do that. Yeah. That was awesome to see though. So especially like Smash Ultimate. Of course, you're a Melee fan to the end of days, but just Ultimate is so cinematic and it just looks so beautiful. It's a pretty old game now too, but like shouts out to them, man. Like they just killed it with everything about that game. I love like the zoom in on the characters' faces when they're getting KO'd.
Yeah.
I love like the big boys too, like the DKs of the world, the Bowsers, even like Ganon in there. Like they just feel very powerful and big. So they just do such a good job at making every character feel very unique and themselves. I mean, there's Marth, Lucina, like they kind of feel similar, but still they got their differences in there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then, I think the last shout out for me, It was just the charades portion that happened at one point, video game charades, and we just used like a random
Crazy.
generator online. And the freaking games it was pulling were insane. You know, many of which I've never heard of. Which, like, I don't know what every game is, but I feel like I've usually heard at least their name. Like, but when we were getting some like Fran Bows in there, and like I don't know what in the world this is. Siberia, like a freaking Chernobyl story or whatever the frick that game was called. Like,
Yeah.
there was like some crazy shit in there, and then some like classic ones. But yeah, even some weird ones like you had this one where you had to act out Mass Effect 2, and it's like, yeah, how the hell do you act out Mass Effect 2? Like, there's just some really, really strange ones. So I didn't have to play that, thankfully. I just got to watch some of the zaniness, but that was fun to see. Just whatever this website was insane. I feel like next time I should just, draw a bunch of ones out on a piece of paper. I feel like that would make for a better match than like some of this craziness that involved a lot of skipping for some just stupid picks that were in there.
Yeah, I think if we do that again, it'd be great to like, okay, we've at least heard of these games. Like Mass Effect being like, I guess you could throw it in there, but something like Siberia and like those random ones, there was one too where Kyle had, he was trying to like, I can't remember what it was called, but he was trying to say like a portion of a fire. It was like Frombre or something like that. What was the game? It's just like, get those out of there, like
Yeah.
Portal, that's a great one to put in there. You can act
Yep.
that out. Like the Call of Duties, Battlefield, like stuff like that. I think we need to prune the list a little bit, but it was still a really fun section,
Yeah.
and I was kind of surprised with some of them we were able to get.
I like when he had to do Firewatch, because I don't think he knows what Firewatch is, even though he is like a firefighter, and like that game would probably be pretty cool for him. But you love that game, and so I was like, oh, this is a fun, weird hiccup here. And like I think even though he doesn't know what this game is, he's still gonna act it out. And obviously Kirklin knows it, and I feel like we even talked about it recently. I forget what episode it was, but I feel like Firewatch again came up in the last like 2 or 3 months at some point. So yeah, I feel like it was top of mind ish.
Yeah, we were talking. I feel like we were either talking about a game from that studio, like a newish one, or maybe we were just talking about the Finch likes of the world. I can't quite remember, but it definitely did come up recently.
Yeah. Any other stream game highlights we haven't mentioned yet?
I don't think so. I think we hit all the main hitters. Okay. Yeah, no, it was a really fun year of games, and yeah. Oh, one I was kind of wanting to pull out. I think this would have been in like the League Worlds era of time in the night, but man, we got to pull out the Lord of the Rings like movie tie-in games where you have like Gimli, Legolas, Aragorn. I brought it on the GameCube. We didn't end up booting up the GameCube, but
which one did you bring? Because I also brought that. Which is
really?
Funny,
I have Two Towers and Return of the King. I brought both of them.
Okay, I brought Two Towers. That's hilarious that we both just randomly brought that. That's
yeah, I brought those two. I think I brought Double Dash, and I think I brought like Spyro, like Hero's Tale, because that's a multiplayer game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what is the Spyro? How is it?
Spyro, A Hero's Tale. I think that's what it's
called.
What's
the multiplayer like? Like, is it just co-op platforming around, or is there like there's like a competitive angle to it? Is it?
Let's see. Oh, never mind. It doesn't have co-op. I think I just thought it had co-op because there's multiple characters. But there you go.
Okay.
It says the only Spyro game in the original series with co-op is The Legend of Spyro Dawn of the Dragon, which allows a second player to control Cinder.
Cinder.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, never mind. I brought Hero's Tale, though, that we could have played one player.
Yeah, I mean, we never get to everything for sure.
True.
Because we never even end up plugging in the GameCube. That takes a couple extra steps. We didn't get to those steps, but at some point we got to make that happen. Because I brought Thug again, which we both. I think we're both a little salty at Tony Hawk after our Gauntlet game, so we weren't like, ooh, got to play Underground. But that was like also one that after last year we had really hyped up. I brought X-Men Legends. We still haven't played that, so there's definitely some GameCube ones that we'll have to. And even like this is on the Switch now, but F-Zero GX. I was really hoping that would get picked in the Gauntlet because different kind of racing game. We've done F-Zero before, but we haven't done that one. And I've never actually played that game, even though it's on the Switch now. I still have been kind of waiting. So I think that one. I hope it pops up in Gauntlet next year, and I really want to see that GameCube F-Zero game. So yeah, always a few things that don't end up getting played on the stream. But overall, I think it went really well, and like most of the things did end up happening. And like for Gauntlet, almost every match was super exciting. I would say everyone was at least good. There weren't any dud matches in there. Everything was fun. And yeah, so for anyone who missed it, go check out the stream. It's still there. It will be there. There's the missing 10-hour chunk, but we'll put that up as soon as we can. But yeah, that's everything from the stream. Let's take our last ad break of the show, and we'll be right back. All right, Kirklin, we are back. Games we've been playing, aka what you've been playing on your trip on the go. First of all, tell me like how does gaming fit into your travel? Are you a big airport gamer on the plane? When do you do your gaming when you're on the move?
Yeah, I this year for my travel, my options, I brought the Nintendo Switch, which I'm still a Switch One enjoyer, which is completely fine. You know, shouts out to the Switch One owners of the world. One day I'll make that upgrade, but not today. Which I did not need to because I really did not boot it up once. That was just wasted travel space, which was unfortunate at the end of the trip when I'm trying to jam everything in my suitcase. And I'm like, why the fuck did I bring this? You know?
Did Shay not play it either, or does she have her own Switch?
She's no, she had her Kindle. Like she was doing a lot of reading on the go, but like she's a big Hello Kitty Island Adventure player. She sunk a plethora of time into that a couple months ago. I think she just kind of got burnt out on it. She wasn't playing it there. And before we left, actually, we jumped back into Cult of Lamb in just to dust off the
as you've been known to do.
As we've been known to do, just to dust off the rust a little bit because we got that great DLC that's coming at the start of next year. Woolhaven, I believe it's called. It's like winter-esque with some bovines that you can have in your some animals that you can have at your hut. And man, what a difficult game to just jump back into because there's so much going on, and because we're in like the end game, like it's difficult, and just coming back to the farm, that's like, oh my god, what were we doing here? Like it's kind of self-sufficient a little bit, but like still you have to make some decisions. So I'm glad we did jump into it then. So it's like when we jump into the DLC, we at least remember a little bit of the mechanics and whatnot before we jump right back into the new stuff. So we played a little bit of that for the trip, but getting back to the travel time, yeah, I brought the Switch, and then I brought my Nintendo 3DS, which is a phenomenal console, just so fantastic. I have plenty of great games on there. One of them that you lent me, the great Fire Emblem Awakening. Shouts out to Fire Emblem. So yeah, I was doing my 3DSing on the Shinkansen bullet train. That was when we were going from like city to city in the Tokyo land, the land of Nippon. And yeah, I did it there. I did on the airport as well as the airplane. I was booting up the 3DS, and that's pretty much the only thing I played actually. So I was playing Fire Emblem Awakening as well as Fire Emblem Fates. I started with Fates, and I gave up on that because that game, I don't know if I'm just really bad at this genre of game or whatnot, or maybe I just got a little bit too used to Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
3 Houses, yeah.
Where it like
prequel, 2 Houses.
Yeah, before they had the third. I feel like when I play these games, I get too attached to like certain characters, so I just can't accept losing anyone, which is such a big mechanic in that game. Especially like you can choose casual mode. I ain't picking casual mode, even though I probably should because I could get through a lot of things a lot easier. But like in 3 Houses, they introduced like the rewind mechanic, which is great because I don't have to just like boot off turn off the system every time I lose a character that I really like to restart the mission. Really, really forgiving in that sense, but also just like the access to training and just doing training battles. Like I kind of forgot that that's just not really like you have them, but they're not just always accessible. So you can't just like, okay, I'm kind of struggling here, I'm going to go do a bunch of practice matches and just level up characters. Like you can't really do that in the older titles. Well, you know, Fates and Fire and Awakening aren't necessarily the old titles. They're like the GameCube ones and the ones earlier than that, but still just earlier than the more modern era of Fire Emblem. And I was just getting so frustrated because like I would try so many different strategies, and I couldn't even get like a quarter of the way like through like just one level, and that's like pretty early on in the game. I was doing the I can't, because there's Fire Emblem Fates, Birthright, and then Conquest. I think is like the more bad side. The first time I played the game, I was progressing through Birthright, so I was playing the Conquest one, and they like the maps are just
Conquest
so large.
Is the harder one, yeah.
Yeah, and like they purposely just put you in these like really hard battle scenarios, and the maps are so large, and there's like if you get like halfway through and you've already like started to lose people, and then I just lose like another person, that's where I'm like, fuck this, I'm turning this off. And it's like I don't even really feel motivated to like try it again. I need like cool off period. So I was trying a couple hours on that game and made a little bit of progress, but it just felt like I was like one step forward, three steps back, and it was just like a really deterrent. So and like because I was doing it on the plane, like I think if I'm struggling, like I could have pulled up like Reddit if I had internet access and like, okay, like what am I doing wrong here? Like, how can I like get a better strategy? Because I'm not even playing on like the hardest difficulty. I think I play on hard, which is kind of the middle difficulty. But there's like lunatic and above. But no, stopped that. Went back to Awakening, which I hadn't played in a long time, and I was picking up my like original save, which is I think it was at like 20 something hours, which I don't know how long that game is, but like I still don't feel like I'm really at the end of it. Like it's those games are just so long. And if I account for every like attempted battle / like turn off the system, jump back in there, I probably have like 100 hours on this save. I think now I'm at like 50 hours. So like pretty in there. Like my like I got the children in there now. That's not really like a big element in Three Houses, so I kind of forgot about that, like the sharing of the traits depending on who gets married. I just love that element of the game too, like the romancing side and just like getting attached to these characters. And I will say easier than Fates, but still harder than Three Houses in the sense of like, okay, I have these supplement battles, but if I'm like investing in a character for a certain amount of time, I kind of have like a path set out for them, but I still get put in these battles that are somewhat lengthy and pretty challenging. And if I lose someone, but it's like, man, like this is like I lost them because someone critted me with like 2%, but like my strategy was correct. I'm like, I can't restart the system.
Super
I can't.
frustrating.
And honestly, Matt, like it's been so freeing to just accept that fact that like, okay, yeah, it's emotionally damaging when I lose. I think like the one I lost last was Sully, which is like a really strong character that I had from like the very get-go. Like she's one of the earliest characters you have, and I just developed her into this like really strong Wyvern Lord that was just popping off, and she just got put into a scenario where I was really confident that she was going to pull out, and no, like they pulled on. I think it was like less than 10% crit chance, and they hit it, and they just demolished her. But like everyone was really low, and it was just a really hard battle that I tried so many times, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Sully, we'll bury you after the battle, but like I can't restart the system. And ever since that moment, like I haven't. Anytime that I've like potentially lost I mean, there's sometimes when it's like, okay, I just lost 3 people in a row, I'm restarting this. I can't accept that, but I feel like that's just such a big part of those games, though, is like actually getting emotionally tied to these characters, especially when they do like their little cutscenes. A lot of them are like very bland and generic, like their little lines that they have with each character. I think that's something that's improved a lot more in the later titles. They don't just feel like a stereotype of themselves, or it's like, oh, this character is just goofy and they love food, so like every single line is about that. It's kind of eye rolly. But no, just getting attached to them, and then they have like a family now, they have children, and then like they get killed off, and I'm just like sitting there like I just watched Thanos snap and I lost Peter Parker for the first time. It's just so like damaging, but it just adds emotion and enjoyment to the game that like I feel like I've been on such a massive campaign now with these characters. And yeah, man, I love Fire Emblem. It's been so long since I've like jumped back into it. Especially Awakening, and like my DS had dust on it, booted it up, full battery charge. Like, come on, like they don't make systems like they used to. So yeah, I think I'm very close to the end of Awakening there, and I've been doing all of like the paralog levels and everything, collecting all the characters. One character that I completely really just wrote off is Donald. I hadn't done his paralog. It's like, I think it's like the first paralog that you get, and I don't know if you remember him, but he's like this farmer guy that you like, his village is being raided, you go and recruit him. If he levels up on the level, then you get to keep him, and he's like really bad character, but his trait is like his stats get like increased, like he just gets like increased XP when he levels up. And for that reason, he can literally become like the strongest character just if you like level him up properly, but he's just such a low like entry point. Like you have to be really smart when you level him up, because he can't fight anyone. You have to hide him, bring him in for a last hit here and there, and just investing in the character has been really rewarding. Because now he's like, I think I have him as like a champion, or I can't remember what he's called, but yeah, he pops off on my front lines now. And it's just like, man, that's young Donald, and he's popping off. He's one of my strongest heroes. So absolutely love that game. I love the characters. It's my first Fire Emblem game too, so I have so much like nostalgia attachment to it. Even though, well, I was gonna say I jumped on it young, but I think no, yeah, because you lent it to me, so it would have been Target.
It's probably
era.
like over a decade ago now. So
Yeah, well, yeah, like older than the podcast.
like a third of your life ago. So that's nostalgia, you know.
Absolutely, love Lucina. That's my lady. I absolutely love that character, and just like the story too. That's a part of it. So shouts out to Fire Emblem and specifically Awakening.
Yeah, I mean, a lot there that you brought up that I'm excited to
sorry.
talk about here.
I was kind of
No, it's good. It's good. So Donald, like those are like recruit characters. Sacred Stones, I'd say, is like maybe the other game that does the most of that, but I feel like most Fire Emblem games have a couple of characters like that are like super duper underleveled, really, really bad, but they just have like more opportunities to level up. That's how it works in Sacred Stones. They're like pretty much like a prequel type class, like before other classes, and so they just get like a whole extra 10 levels worth of potential points that they can get on a level up if you just fully max them out. And then eventually in the like mid-late game they become just like super overpowered, but it's like such a satisfying journey to go on. Like it truly feels like you're building up with them. And I feel like if that kind of character dies early on, I guess some people just let it happen. They're like, oh, this character sucks. They just let them die. But man, if they make it to like the mid-late game, like they're never dying. Like they're just like immortal pretty much. So I love those kinds of characters.
Absolutely. Something I forgot to mention too is in Three Houses, I feel like there's so much, well, probably in all the previous games, but I didn't really utilize it as much, but magic users, I think Three Houses just has like a lot of them, and it's just like really simple. Like your spell books never run out. It's just really simplified, and for that reason I just naturally was using more magic users. I think the first time I played that game too, I was like the Black Eagles, which have like a lot of magic users just in their roster. And going back to it, like I definitely wasn't using them that much. But man, they are some crazy powerhouse. Like my Robin also, I just like morphed into just like
Robin's so good. Yeah.
He is just a god tier. Like I can have him like solo a level. It seems sometimes I can't really now just because they're very difficult. And of course my pairings, I love having them on there. But in like the early mid game, it was that point where I'm like I feel like I have to bench Robin. Like I'm just leaning on him way too much for some of these battles. But really really strong character. It'd be interesting to look back. Like, I mean, I haven't played all these Fire Emblem games. I definitely want to play more of them. I mean, I haven't beaten one yet. I think I'm very close with Awakening, so I gotta finish one at least. But I just love these types of games, and it'd be interesting to look back on just like who like the best player character is. I know there always wasn't that option like in the earlier ones. I think you just have like the Marth or the Roy, right? You'd be able to speak to that more.
Yeah, I think it might be Byleth, like from Three Houses.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of like the player, like the avatar type character. I mean, they didn't like, because what they used to have like the Lord type character that would be your protagonist, like Ike, you know, from Smash, or like Marth, Roy, Erica, and Ephraim from Sacred Stones. And then at some point they transition. I think it was really with Awakening is when, okay, now you have Robin, you can like choose their hair color, choose their gender, change their name. Like they don't have to be named Robin. And then they did that with Fates, with Corrin, and then kept that with Three Houses in Byleth, and then in Engage. I don't even know what that character's called. I think there's one as well, but man, that game's not super memorable for me. But yeah, and I think of those, Byleth's the one that comes to mind for me in terms of like being the most powerful. But it could be Robin, and that's one of the things that I loved about Awakening, and specifically that character, is to have a magic user who can like also use swords was like a mind-blowing thing for me. And now there is more like hybrid type classes in like Three Houses and Engage and stuff, but for a long time it was very much like very separation of church and state. If you are a magic user, you don't use swords or weapons of any kind, or you know, the opposite is true. And so now it's really fun to have some more like weird wacky hybrid classes. And like now there's like Wyvern riders that use like dark magic and stuff, and like that's a really fun kind of combo. I really like some of that. So I feel like they've gotten a lot more loose in terms of what a certain class can be by just like adding new ones here or there. And so excited with Shadows Weave. I keep forgetting the freaking name of this new one.
It's not good if that's what it's called.
It's not Shadows Weave, is it? It's something. It's something Weave. Fates Weave? No, not Fates Weave.
Yeah, no, you're onto something there. You're close. You're circling it.
But yeah, even like in that, like seeing a couple new classes just like by name, and I'm curious to see like what those are and like what they evolve into as well.
Yeah,
will be fun to see.
No, for sure. I love too like the upgrade of the technology, like the Switch version of like Three Houses. Like it's just a really beautiful game too. Like when you're on the grid and like the characters are like 3D and like it just looks really nice. But
Fortune's Weave, by the way.
Fortune's Weave. There you go. Beautiful. You were circling it. But man, I love the look of the DS and just like that grid style of the characters. It's more like just classic like old style JRPG like Final Fantasy era on like the PS whatever PS1 PS2 whatever those games were. Like it just reminds me of that. Like the character models are so great. But I did want to shout out as per my name, the flyers of the world, because I completely underutilized the flyers in those games on my early Fire Emblem adventures. Such powerful characters, and like the tutorial tells you, you know, like if you pair up a slow character on a flyer, like it helps them move around more. I didn't really like think about the min-max potential of that really, because I thought it would just be like, okay, yeah, I can go a little bit further with when I put this, but like if you have a character certain distance and you march them all the way to a certain character that jumps on a flyer, now you get to use all of your movement on that other flyer to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can still switch your character to attack with that initial guy that just crossed like the whole map. Like I realized that like 35 hours into the game that I could even do that, which is just nuts. Absolutely nuts. I never used flyers. I think one like got caught in like by arrows or maybe some wind magic, and I was like, this class fucking sucks. This is horrible. But you just, you know, you strategize around it, and yeah, and like there's flyers all across the genre. I don't know how like back they go, but of course, moving on from Awakening, like there's so many flyers in the game. Three Houses has plenty of them, and that's where they have like really, really, really strong Wyvern Lords and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like also when they're lower levels, like they have pretty bad hit rate, so I just didn't really invest in them at all early on in my Fire Emblem adventures. But yeah, I always bring flyers with me, not just for the movement, but they also just they usually have like really high speed. Also, just like if you, like those children, man, like you can get some crazy traits if like from the parents. Those children are insane characters. That I just underutilized. So there's so much to the games. I understand now how people could probably beat these games on Lunatic if they just min-max everything in them, because there's just so many things that I don't really realize that's in it. But yeah, no, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll ever bring back that mechanic from Awakening, like not the pair up one, but like specifically just like the marrying characters together and then have them having like offspring, and then like you're kind of raising them up, and you know, their appearance changes depending on who their parents are. Like I understand why they don't, because that's just like a lot of work. It makes sense why, but it is really satisfying, and I think it makes for really fun replayability, because you're like getting characters you've just never seen before more realistically, because you're just not gonna have it. You're gonna have way more permutations, I suppose. So yeah, I don't know if they'll do that again. It doesn't seem like that's Fortune's Weave. Doesn't seem like that one's going for it. So maybe in the future we'll see that again. But yeah, it's the only game that's done that before.
Oh, actually, I feel like I didn't know that fact. That's crazy. Yeah,
I think it's the only game that has like the pair up mechanic, like in the same way. Like you can always like rescue characters, pick them up, and move them around, but you can't like switch and like use them to attack. So that game, I mean, obviously that kind of goes well with the pairing mechanic and marrying people and like all that. So it feels like a fusion of those two ideas. But that's, you know, one of the many reasons. I mean, Awakening is a great game for a lot of reasons, but for sure, like those mechanics are unique in the series of like 15 games. It's saying something that it's like the only one that does those two things in particular.
That's crazy. I feel like I like obviously Three Houses. I knew you couldn't do that, but I thought that was in like earlier titles also, just like not necessarily like the offspring, but just pairing up with characters. So
yeah, definitely relationships, but yeah, not having like kids. That was new to that one. I mean, maybe one of the super old ones that I haven't played, like the Japan only ones, but I doubt it. Back in the day, they would have had that. No,
for sure. I do completely understand why they don't do that. It is a lot to put in there. I still wish that does happen though, because it's just so great. Like seeing that investment. Of course, I'm playing like my basically romance game, and then I'm getting these offspring that I'm able to put into battle. It's just so great. I do wish that there was, like maybe just as you progress in the game, like natural like age jumps. Where in like Three Houses, like from Act 1 to Act 2, like the characters change physically, like they look older. That would be because like I have my young character talking to their child, and it's just like this is a little weird that they like they don't got wrinkles. They look the same age essentially, but
Right.
yeah, no, it's a really cool mechanic, and knowing that it's just part of that, I feel like it makes it a little bit more special of like Awakening, of like that game, just because I do really love that aspect of it, and I think. Yeah, for the reasons of it being nostalgic and as well as the gameplay that I've loved with it, the characters. I think Awakening will always be my favorite Fire Emblem, but I can't really say that because I've only played 3 of them. I think you lent me one of them on GameCube, but I only like scratched the surface on that one. But what was that Path of Radiance or is that Sacred
I don't
Stones?
remember lending you that, but that is the only GameCube one. So if I did do that, it would have been
Okay.
Path of Radiance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have Sacred Stones and Blazing Blade on, or Binding Blade, I always forget which one it is, on Switch Online right now. And then whenever you get a Switch 2 in the GameCube app, they do have Path of Radiance on there as well.
Oh,
so
cool.
you have a lot of other ones you could jump into pretty easily if you want to. So that's you got a lot of potential there. And then Fortune's Weave next year. I think that's a Switch 2 only one, right? So I guess you won't be playing that at launch, but we'll see how that goes. But kind of what you were saying there of, like, I think I've made the decision now, because I've been a purist for a long time. Oh, casual mode, I'm not using that. I'm classic mode all the way.
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do for Fortune's Weave, I think I'm going to do casual mode and the highest difficulty that I can. I don't think usually you don't get Lunatic like from get-go. You have to like beat the game first and then you unlock that. So I think I'm going to go hard and casual because I don't know. I think that I think there is like an interesting strategy to that of like characters dying mid-battle, and it's like if you can still make it through that battle, that is still impressive because you have like less units than you normally would.
Yeah.
But I just so many times, like that's when I ended up quitting Conquest. Had one battle that was like 2.5 hours long, died, or like lost a unit or two. I can't remember the exact scenario, but enough that I was like, okay, I have to reset here, and then just like never playing the game again. And the same thing happened with Shadows of Valencia. And Engage, I got to some level that was just so effed, so impossible, and I just couldn't get through it without like losing multiple people. And so I think I'm excited to, and even though Engage has like the rewind mechanic like Three Houses, I think I've accepted that like I'm just gonna try casual mode for once, put on the higher difficulty, and see if I can still have a good time with it that way, and just dig into it for what it is, and still get that strategic element, but without being as pissed off about like losing people and resetting.
Totally.
And you're right, there is something to letting characters die and having that be a narrative thing, but also if you're playing like on higher difficulties, and it's like if I've invested a ton in a character, sometimes it just like becomes a slippery slope of like, well, then if I keep losing characters, then like I can't even beat the final levels because I don't have enough characters. Like I just run out of all the good
100%.
ones and like all the resources and losing good items and stuff. So there is an argument for that, and I've definitely let some people die over the years because it makes for a good story. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a fine balance, and so I'm excited to try that with Fortune's Weave because I've just never really done that before.
Yeah. No, 100%. I and like I was saying earlier, when I let that character die, I didn't let them die, but they just happened to die, and I let it happen because I kept going on the mission. If it was like my favorite character, I probably would have rebooted the game. Let's be honest. Like I think it was just it fit that narrative at that point in time. So I think it is a wise decision to go casual because, as I was saying, like my total time played is probably like over 100 hours on this save, and that's because I've just like played a mission probably an hour in, and then I have to restart it, and I just do that because I just don't want to lose a certain character. But like also at the same point, like when I'm playing on Classic, and if I have like 6 characters that are all like super low health, it's a little bit harder to get them healed up and like getting like access to the elixirs and stuff. Like you really got to be on top of just inventory management, as you do have to do on pretty much all the games. But like when I'm going into battle and it's like, okay, if they hit, this character's dead for sure, and they have like 70% and they miss. What a rush is that feeling? And or maybe you get like the clutch character that's paired with them jump in to like block the shot, and I'm just going crazy on this flight where like this red eye flight where everyone's just asleep, and I'm just going crazy right now in the middle of the flight, 5 hours in. It what a feeling it is. I was getting sweaty on that ride for sure, and it was a great time.
Yeah. I mean, that's the super duper mega plus side of playing these things on Switch Online is like those old games just have the rewind feature now because that's just built into the app. So if you're going back to those Game Boy Advance ones, you can just like make save states mid-level if you want, go back to those, or you can just rewind by, I don't know what the limit is, but definitely you could rewind like you walking in, it getting hit by crit by someone and you know, for 5% crit and dying. You can definitely rewind that. So that's also why I haven't experienced those games because I have played them recently enough that I haven't jumped into like the versions that are on Nintendo Switch Online. But yeah, that's definitely a nice way to kind of revitalize some of those older games and make them a little more modern, even though they didn't have to change anything about the game itself. It's just like through the app that it's played on. So that's a pretty cool feature as well. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight was you mentioned the flyers. And yeah, flyers, they're the best. And especially with my second playthrough that I did of Three Houses, I think I told you about this, but just kind of reminiscing on it is I pretty much made every character that had the ability to change into a flyer class, and I pretty much speed around the game. And I had so many flyers, and people were just zipping around the map like crazy. And it was such a fun playthrough to have just like every version of flyer, different Wyvern types, different Pegasus types, and just like just launching through these levels unstopped. It was super fun. I had a great time with that playthrough.
Man, movement is such a powerful mechanic in that game. Like if you if you can just like go in, attack someone, and then move out. I did that a lot in Three Houses. Like I think I had quite a few flyers, and just being able to do that and get out of attack range is just so strong of an ability to do. So yeah, shouts out to flyers. They're I underappreciate them, but never again. I'm never gonna undervalue a flyer again.
Yeah, no, I mean you got to be careful with them, right? For sure with the wind magic or bow and arrows, like they'll just take them down for sure. But you gotta, keep an eye out for that, and then you can have some good success. Any other highlights from your travels? Sounds like you really just played Awakening. So is that kind of the one highlight?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really play a lot of video games on the travel. Like, I probably would have been more if the Worlds event was going on. That took up my late night time. But yeah, I know Shane and I walked into a couple of the arcades there in Japan. They look absolutely insane. We didn't end up playing just because we kind of were going to a location, just wanted to stop by and take a look. But yeah, no, it was pretty dry on the gaming front. I'm excited to, now that I'm back, get back in the routine of just jumping into some games that I've been excited to jump into. So yeah, that's it for me.
What is the next thing you're jumping into?
Ooh, what a great question.
You have a day off tomorrow. If you're sitting down for a couple hours of gaming, what do you
Yeah. If I'm being honest with myself, I've already pre-planned some League of Legends exciting time with,
that makes
with
sense.
a couple
The
of friends.
Worlds,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That always happens after Worlds. That's just like I was talking to Saris about this. Like he always jumps in around Worlds. It's just a natural thing, just the hype from that. But I'll probably put in some League time there in the mornings, and I do want to boot up the PlayStation and play some things. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of been itching to jump back into Mortal Kombat after like the little games that I played on the stream there. Just jump in there and just do a couple of the tournaments. I don't play like online with people. I probably should, but there's just something in me. I'm just scared, so I'll just do the towers. But no, just even playing some of the characters I haven't played yet, and like I played Omni-Man on stream, but like never really like trying to learn him properly. And there's just a lot of satisfaction that you get in that game, and it's a big roster that I haven't fully tapped into. So yeah, I'll probably boot up some Mortal Kombat as well.
Yeah, that was fun to watch you play that and see some of the newer-ish characters that I haven't really seen much of yet. So that was a good time. Yeah, I think the one highlight, the one thing I've been playing is I also had much smaller than you, but had a little bit of travel this weekend as I had to come to Kelowna. So I had a few hours in the car and on the bus on the way home. And so yeah, I picked up Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, which I didn't pick up when it came out like a month ago because reviews were like really bad. Like people were like, oh, this is like a really half-assed port. EA really dropped the ball here. Cash grab, all this shitty stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, fuck it. They probably don't earn my money. But then I was like, okay, I'm going to Kelowna. I need something to play. And you know what? I'm just going to buy it. How bad can it be? It's Plants vs. Zombies. And I don't get it. I don't see why people are crying about this game. Like, I had no bugs. It plays well, looks good, has new content in it. So I don't know, maybe they just had put a couple patches out that have fixed all the issues people had. But to me, this it's a really great port. Like it's exactly what I'd expect and want, which is not much. It's just like, hey, have it run in widescreen and play on my Switch. and throw some extra bells and whistles in there. Like, you're not going to complain about that. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they have had a couple patches, but it hasn't been out that long. But yeah, I beat the campaign, and then it unlocks a new game plus, which I don't remember the game having. So it's hard for me to remember what's new and what isn't, just because it's been a while since I've like actually played through the entirety of Plants vs Zombies. But so many mini games, puzzle modes, bonus modes. I've seen now some stuff that is new for sure. Like, there's some new level types that are unlocked, and I still have a lot of things to unlock, so I probably can report back on a lot of the new things later. But yeah, man, I've had a lot of fun getting back into Plants vs Zombies. Playing through that full campaign from start to finish again was super fun. And now that I've done that, it seems like I've unlocked like a lot of the harder things, and so I'm excited to see what that's like too. Because since I've played this game before, it was kind of breezy. I didn't have to replay a single level. Like, I just had enough of the knowledge base to beat them on my first try. And the first few worlds, I was just on 2.5 times speed, blasting through these levels as fast as I could, pretty much, to get to the later stuff. And then I had to slow down because it gets pretty intense. But just forgot about so many of the later mechanics of. Kind of forgot how like the rooftop levels worked, and like the levels where the fog rolls in and you got to like put lanterns out there, or you can just like risk it and not see what's coming. And then forgetting about some of the puzzles and all. Like, there's just a lot of content in this package. So even though this is like $30 for this remake, or maybe 35 Canadian dollars, whatever it was, it feels like there's a lot in here. And yeah, like some of the new stuff I'm excited to check out as well. So yeah, just been really fun, really playing a lot of Plants vs Zombies, because I think after me and you did that best zombie game ranking earlier this year, I booted up the game and played like maybe half an hour of it, and then kind of put it down again. But to really just be stuck in a car and like, okay, I'm just gonna play through a bunch of this game, and just kind of falling in love with it again has been really great. So yeah, shout out to Plants vs Zombies, specifically Replanted. I think this is a pretty good remaster version of it. So if you haven't played this game before, I think this is a good way to finally check it out. That's my recommendation.
Nice. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Plants vs. Zombie fan of time past. Do they still have what was it called? It was like a bowling bonus game in there where you just control like little potato guys that shoot. I just remember having so much fun with that. I can't remember if they were like a part of the campaign or if it was just like a bonus mode in there.
Both. Yeah, there are every few levels you get like a auto scrolling type level where rather than like harvesting sun, planting things, you just have like a conveyor belt that's like just bringing cards down, or I guess
right.
down.
I remember that.
You put those in, and sometimes they are like a regular level, but then sometimes they are like the lawn bowling one, and then there are bonus levels as well in the challenge mode thing where there are like other ones, and some of them actually do get pretty challenging in that challenge mode specifically, where it's just like an insane amount of things they're giving, like throwing so many insane amount of zombies they're throwing at you that you got to deal with. And I forgot, there's like a mini game where you actually get to like plant the zombies down and try and take down the yard, and I totally forgot that was a thing in there as well. This version also did add co-op, which I thought maybe we would jump into at some point on the stream. It didn't. I don't think I actually had really unlocked it, and now I've unlocked like a verse mode, so I want to see what that is like, and maybe that could become a gauntlet game. It's like some PvZ verse mode, so I'll explore what that looks like, and maybe we can revisit it again next stream. But yeah, it seems like there's a couple fresh new things in here as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you find yourself like, I feel like I always kind of just stuck to the same plants or like my same strategy pretty much every game. Do you find yourself trying every plant type? Like there's like the ice plant that would like freeze them. Like I would never use that guy ever.
Oh really?
There's like the mines I never used. I always had the potato walls though. I would always put those guys at the front when I could. That was like my go-to. But yeah, like do you experiment a little bit? Is it like, okay, I played this game before, this playthrough, I'm gonna go around and just try everything I haven't done before? How do you go about it?
I think I do like to experiment and try out some different ones. Like, I don't know if you remember like the star. It's like almost like a little starfish, and it shoots out darts in like 5 different directions, which is like awkward.
Is it the multi-headed one, or is that different? Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like that, which is kind of weird, right? Because it shoots them in like diagonal, which is like it's really hard to envision. Like, okay, is this really the coverage I need in like a tower defensey kind of game? But I was like, oh, it's fun to try that out for a few levels. I mean, most of the time I do base it off of like you get the preview of what zombies are going to come down in this level. So it's like, okay, well, I need the cactus one because I got to take out these balloons. But yeah, it seems like for any possible problem, there's like 2 or 3 or more plants that can like specifically fight them off. So like, yeah, I think I kind of don't really use the mines a whole lot. But then when you get to the levels where you have like the underminer guy who like crawls underground to the back of your base and then like attacks your guys from the back. If you put those potato things down, since it's underground, he just blows up on it. It's like, okay, so that thing became crucial now, like way late in the campaign. So it's fun, like multiple worlds later for one of the earliest plants you have to have like a whole new use to it. So yeah, I'm definitely trying out some new ones. And then there's like, I forgot about some of the upgrade ones you can like buy from the shop. So you like put down a sunflower and then you get like a double-headed sunflower that you can attach to it. And so yeah, I am trying out different ones, but I'm for sure an ice guy. Like I make sure I get an ice tower or an ice pea shooter in every single lane, so that I can slow stuff down. And then at the rooftop level, you unlock the corn on the cob one, which has like it shoots butter every once in a while that just like freezes them completely in place, and then until that wears off. And so now I'm like, okay, now every lane I want ice and one corn thing so that I can just like slow these enemies down a ton. And then I really just try and save up, and I love the 3-headed pea shooter that shoots like in its lane and the 2 lanes next to it, and I try and line that up so that it's like getting as much coverage as possible. And then also one of the things I try and do is avoid putting as much as I can in the water. I just try and use like that 3-headed shooter to like put it next to the water, and then it will shoot into the water still.
You don't have to
or,
invest
like, using
in
the star and
the
things
pads
like that.
and
so
stuff.
yeah, like I'm just like, I'm going to try and save some money by not having to buy the pads and things like this. So I am definitely trying some different strategies, but I always come back to like certain favorites. Like there's like the big purple piranha plant one that usually you'd like plant behind the walnut, and then it like just eats up a whole zombie all at once, but then it has like a long cooldown. I don't usually use those a lot, but then like every once in a while I like to put them in the rotation. And then like certain levels do a good job of like limiting what you can use or like giving you just specific ones, so you're kind of forced to use them. But yeah, I do like to mix it up, and like some for the different fog, like there's like 2 or 3 or 4 plants that like have different ways to counteract fog, and so I'll kind of switch up the ones I want just to try some different stuff or see what my favorites are. But yeah, I think for the most part, I am definitely a creature of habit, and I love my symmetry. Like I really want my lawn to be like a nice symmetrical look to it. So that sometimes I think limits me as well, but I gotta do what I gotta do. So yeah, it's a fun game to revisit because I feel like I have my ways, and I'm probably playing it similarly that I did back in the day, but I do feel like I'm experimenting a bit more this time around than I did, especially because I just know the game pretty well, so I'm like pretty confident in it. So I'm like, okay, I can actually mess around a little bit, try some of these ones I haven't really used a whole lot before, and there's a lot in there, a lot to unlock still, even for me right now. A lot of coins to save up to purchase all these things.
That's awesome. No, I love it. I definitely just love the OG pea shooter. So then I would like my upgraded version would just be like the Gatling ones, because that's just awesome to get out there. And then the multi-headed ones. I always just love the pea shooters. I love the effect of the peas shooting out. It was just very pleasing to me. So I like to have some Gatlings behind the potatoes, but of course,
get,
as you
the
mentioned,
fiery stumps, so the pea shooters like turn into fireballs as well, which I forgot
and I would
about. So those are fun.
Always get like the grave remover guys, like the tombstone munchers. Just got to. That's a staple. If there's graves, I'm getting those guys.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, super fun game. Great time jumping back into that. And Kirklin, I think that pretty much does it for this here episode of Sidequest. Really fun one, just catching up from the games of the weekend and just Fire Emblem. We get this happens like multiple times a year for us, where we just end up talking about Fire Emblem for a half an hour or more. I don't know. It's a evergreen topic for you and I. But thank you for joining me. Thank you everyone for listening. It sounds like there is a Nintendo Direct showing off some Mario stuff and a state of play this week, so there's probably going to be a lot of things to cover next week on SideQuest. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.